Oh yes, it's that time again. Another Ronin Radio podcast coming to you guys fresh and live. This one I'm excited for, and I'm excited because today we are talking with the Japanese community lead, Axie King Aruchan. And let's just say Japan is a huge and critical talking point in Web3 game development. Want to find out why? Well, listen to me and Axie King Aruchan have a conversation about it. We'll start off nice with some music. Shout out to the tunes in the back. Aruchan, you made me want to make something again, so you're welcome. But appreciate all of the support, and make sure to follow me on Twitter and follow the Ronin Radio also at the Ronin Radio, and check us out every Thursday where we host our Twitter spaces to see the game development and the chain development of the Ronin Network. Thank you for tuning in. It's the Gila, and let's get into this. Welcome to another episode of the Ronin Radio Podcast series. I am blessed today to say that I can interview Axie King Aruchan. Let me get that right. Axie King Aruchan, community lead in Japan. It's a pleasure. Welcome to the pod.
どうも、アクシーキングアルちゃんです。今日も見てくれてありがとう。皆さんいかがお過ごしでしょうか。今日も早速 Axie Infinity やっていきたいと思います。Alright, everyone, this is Axie King Aruchan, and thank you, Gila, for having me on your channel today. Sorry, I just had to do that because that's my iconic, signature opening move I do on every single one of my YouTube videos. So, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be talking with you today.
Superb. No, I did a little data research and finding out who I'm going to interview to try and really bring the best out of the conversation. And I'm so impressed by the YouTube. I didn't realize it went back like that. But for a while now, a real, these content creators were a driving force of Axie. So that was huge to be able to see that. I can't believe I didn't realize that before. And this sometimes happens in the community, but that's lit. Shout out to Japan. Who is Aruchan? That's where I want to start. I want to get it right, because one day you have to, the Japanese Axie community, I'm telling you now, you guys, I will learn Japanese. I will do it. One day I'm going to be fluent. I believe in that idea. But who is Aruchan? Why I always start here in the interviews, really you define a lot of yourself in the early phases of your life, who you are as a person. And especially in the industry of gaming, I feel like those early gaming experiences really define a lot of like our characters, especially when we interact in the world of Axie, and obviously on the Ronin Network. So how do you get to where you were? Because you growing up in America, I've got so many questions. Who is Aruchan?
Okay, yeah, for sure. Let me get started. Yeah, so my name is Albert Takagi, and I go by Axie King Aruchan, and that's actually also my YouTube channel name. But first of all, the name Aruchan comes from my real name. When you try to say my real name in Japanese, it's Arubato, but that's kind of long, so people like to make it shorter, just Aru, like the first part.
Yes, yeah.
Adding the chan, you hear all the time in anime. So Aruchan, it's like a cute way of saying Albert. But basically, yeah. So I grew up in Japan, but I was born in the States. I was born in New York, and I moved to Japan when I was in kindergarten, and I lived there for up to third grade, and since like fourth grade to fifth grade, I actually moved back to the States, and I was attending a school there. But then I came back to Japan, and I ended up attending an international school there from sixth grade all the way till graduating high school. And I came to the U.S. for college here in California. And I ended up attending Cal State Northridge, where I studied film production for 2 years. But then I took a gap year in between, and I followed my true passion of creating music and playing music. I was always a musician, actually. I grew up in a musical family, and I was playing the trumpet, drums, piano, and I was also playing the guitar all my life. So
that's amazing.
Music was my thing. Like it was my life. And so, yeah, after doing several years of film production in another school, I was like, no, this is not really what I wanted to do, but music was my true thing. So I ended up going to Musicians Institute in Hollywood, where it's a music school for contemporary music, and that's where I ended up graduating. And I also wanted to say that I'm born between Korean mother and a Japanese father, so I'm half
Okay.
Korean and Japanese as well. So I have a
Wow.
pretty international background.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's dope. It's so amazing to see. I think this happens a lot nowadays, globally, and especially interacting on a global scale. Um, some of these backgrounds are crazy, but they really like it sets something in you as well. You become well cultured. You experience different things from a young age, and I think it helps. It really does. But no, just listening to that journey that you went on. There's a lot's going on, and during that time, there's a lot of gaming. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it's interesting. Like, I wanted to get into this maybe a little bit later too, but I was never like too much into gaming. Actually, like I said, I was like all about doing music. Like after school, like I would just go to the band room with all my friends and just
Okay.
like
Yeah.
jam all day night. And like, I was very how do I say it? Like, I felt guilty playing game at home. Like growing up in an
Mhm.
Asian family where like I just like randomly played game in the living room. My mom would just like tell me to stop playing after 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So like I was the type of guy who would bring my own Game Boy to class and I would like hide behind the class, like, constantly play Dragon Quest, Pokemon, all kinds
Wow.
of
Yeah.
things. But
Two great games, by the way, you just named there. I like my RPG, so that's
I probably spent like nearly 600 to 700 hours for each Dragon Quest game. So
wow.
yeah, that's how I didn't get like good grades in school.
Well, you were getting good grades somewhere else because that's a lot of mental work. Like, I have these conversations sometimes with my parents, and they scoff and like laugh it off sometimes. But like when I was playing these games, you're doing like maths and stuff. Like you are thinking. You're like completing problems. So like I was essentially doing homework in ways. But yeah, I guess the image of gaming can develop and has developed, in my opinion, as well. On what it can be capable to do. Another beautiful side of it, education factor. But that's so cool to hear. That
Yeah,
the passion was in music. I myself, I don't talk much about it, but I did music production since like 16 years old as like a side hobby. I never really went into, studying it or taking on education in music, but a huge, huge passion still to this day. There's something that I just absolutely love about music. It's like in the complexity of trying to communicate with somebody or with the world, a song can, like it's crazy. We could go on a whole different tangent just on that topic alone,
I
but
know, but yeah,
but not
yeah.
awesome, man.
Like I just wanted to say that I've listened to several of your tracks before that you posted on Twitter, and you
Oh
hit
yeah, yeah.
bars, and you're always just killing it. Yeah,
we,
like,
I tell you what, at some point, yes, like I'd love to be able to actually focus on it and take it very seriously. Um, but life, man. We got to do. There's a lot of things going on right now, but
I know.
um,
Yeah, I feel like right now I'm in a transition period where I'm not like completely off from music, but I found a bigger passion and I have bigger priorities now.
yeah,
Now that I'm married and I have a dog as well. Uh,
yes,
but like music is something I feel like it's something that you can always do, like no matter what age you are, because it's just a way of expression and it doesn't have to necessarily, generate income through music. So I always, you know, have music in the center of my heart, but it's something that I'll maybe kind of explore and pursue a little bit more further down the
yeah.
line in my life. So
But
yeah, it's
I wish I could take the camera and move it around the room like right now, like I was doing a vlog. But on my whiteboard that's in front of me here, I've got a note that says game sound design outlines for video series. Right, so I had this idea about studying and going back to my favorite games as a child, and now with a more educated musical mind, like breaking down the structure of the tunes that we always hear in our head that are like IP driven sounds and soundtracks. Um, like, is that something in the industry that you would like to maybe move into eventually? Like, out of me, it's just for like a passion and love. And if a job opportunity opened up, like, whoa, I would explore it. Like, is that in the back of your mind in some way, shape, or form? You'd like to get involved in that way?
so I went through like a long period of struggling and like questioning myself if I really wanted to get involved with music in a business oriented way, I came to a conclusion that I don't want to do that because music is too pure for me. And I've had like several years of career as a music producer here in LA where I made like like music for online commercials and short films, and I made tracks for local artists. And those times are really, really fun for me. But at the
Mhm.
same time, like I just hated myself trying to somehow make a hit through this single track or to generate money, and like that pressure, like while composing was just like so much that I couldn't handle it anymore. And like I was on the verge of like starting to hate music, but that's not something I wanted to like reach there. So I told myself that I needed some time off from music and just kind of, refresh myself and listen to music in a super normal way, like, instead of like having that producer ear and like analyzing music, but just to like simply enjoy and dance to music. And that's something that I feel like I was missing for many years
Yeah.
since I began like studying music like professionally. So even if there is some opportunity for people like wanting to hear my music, I'm not really sure if I really want to dive into that currently. It's
Yeah.
something that I definitely want to pursue in the future when I'm more relaxed and financially
Mhm.
stable.
Yeah. No, it's so crazy that we're having this convo now. Like there was no preparation for the music arc. I shit you not, right? We literally have a bullet point of topics, but like music was not. I'm so glad to be finding these things out, and I completely get it as well. Like I can see that I stepped away from the music industry because it just felt like, yo, I'm Gila and I need poison stacks, but it felt like poison. Like the industry felt poisonous.
Yeah.
And yes, so like even that is part of my journey, even to get into here. So let's get to here. Your role now. How does that come about? Like, how do you discover the game itself, Axie, first and foremost, and obviously hearing about Sky Mavis and getting involved with the community to leading to today, the role that you're able to play it?
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. So even before I started playing Axie, I was invested in crypto like Bitcoin and Ethereum probably since like 2017, 2018-ish.
Oh
So
wow, yeah.
I was like a little bit early in the game, but it was kind of boring to just hold on to Bitcoin and just watch the chart and do nothing and wait, like just hope for the price to go up in like 5 years. But then I heard like a news from my friend saying that he flipped a virtual land, like sandbox land for several $1,000s, and I was like, "What? Like, how'd you do that?"
Yeah.
This, like I said, like as a music producer living in LA, we like I was struggling a lot, so I was
Mm.
like finding some sort of like another side hustle or a new form of income, and crypto, like NFT and crypto, was something that I got really interested in. So I started like looking into it, and I bought my first sandbox land like several years ago, and I was able to flip it for a few $1,000s after waiting for like
Sheesh.
several months. So
Yep.
I was like, yo, okay, this is not bad, but I want something faster. And then I started looking into it and just randomly ran across this article that said two old couples in Philippines are making a living from playing game. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I have to know this thing. Like,
Yeah.
that's my shit. Like, I love gaming and I'm into crypto. So yeah, I have to learn more about this. And when I, opened the box, it was like basically talking about Axie Infinity, like being played in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn more about it, but this was like back in late 2020 ish or early 2021, where there were very limited articles out there, and
Mhm.
there was like not a single article or any info in Japanese. So I was
Okay, yeah, yeah.
like, I want to learn more about this, but there's like very limited information. But I already had a YouTube channel where I was like posting gaming reactions to like Fortnite,
Okay, yeah.
Animal Crossing, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, or all kinds of stuff, which wasn't buzzing at all. Like I only
Yep.
had about
Oh,
half
we
the
know about
views.
that.
You know about that, right?
Yeah.
So I was like on a 600-day streak of posting a video every single day on YouTube, but that was like not buzzing, not going anywhere, and I was like getting very tired of like doing this. So, um, but that's like when I came across Axie Infinity, and like I said, no, there was no information out there. So I was like, do I think like there will be people who will be interested in learning more about Axie? And then I was like, but in order to even play the game, download the game, we needed the initial condition was that you need to have 3 Axies to even download the game. And
Mhm.
back then when I first joined, like Axie was about $400 each. So I had to easily spend like $1,200 or $1,500,
Mhm.
which was like near like my entire life savings. This was like back in 2021 when like it was COVID and I didn't
Mhm.
have a job or gig. So I was like living just like off of my savings. And,
Yeah.
like it was a huge
It
gamble.
was a leap. Yeah, it was a leap.
Yeah, yeah. Like it could have been a huge scam or something. And I told my wife that I was like trying to invest in a game which might cost like $1,500, and my wife's like, "Yo, I'm gonna break up with you if you do that." So I was
Oh
really
shit.
risking my finance and
Yeah. Shout out to Aruchan's wife for holding it down. Let's go. All right, a good decision.
now that I look back, like she has like supported me through like the hardest times. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate everything that my wife did for me. But anyway, so I, invested that much money in downloading the game and buying 3 Axies, and I posted my reaction on YouTube. And the first video that I posted had like a few thousand views, like easily maybe 2,000 views on the first day or so. And I was like, yo, this has never happened to my channel. And I knew
Mhm.
that this was like a hit and something that the people wanted to hear. So I constantly just continued to post Axie content for like
Yeah.
20, 30 videos. And then my YouTube channel started growing from like 100 subscribers to 5,000. And now I'm currently around at like 9,000 subscribers.
Wow. Congrats.
Yeah, that's how
Let's
I
go.
met Axie Infinity, and it totally changed my life.
That's for real. That's such a I think a lot of people have like similar interactions. Like we take a look at people like Elijah in the community, and like content creators that came up, had that passion previously for gaming, and then also matched with crypto and the ability to come and create content and to have that the ability to create impressions on these people who want to find this information out was like it was a boost for everyone, and from that boost people just started to build. They built like crazy, and to now where we have such a sophisticated infrastructure in terms of like the community, like just members within the community and what people are capable of, what they've grown to be now involved of. Like it's a beautiful thing, and to know that like that was a similar story for you. And when I said we know about that one, I meant like, bro, I'm still there where you're posting YouTube videos sometimes and like there's no love out here for the video. But like getting through that as well, I can see why you get that attachment, man. Like once you're getting that traction there, you continue to fire out content and it grows from there. But like you said, a limited resource of Japanese content, and take using your initiative, which by the way, fantastic, because here's some stats. I want to talk about Japan, right? It's known that Japan is one of the largest gaming market by market revenues in the world. I think it's third. I checked 2022 finished around 20 billion US dollar billion in revenue alone. So for Web3, for Web3 gaming to really be mass adopted, it is inevitable that you have to conquer Japan, essentially. Not That's a horrible way to say it. I mean, you have to have fans in Japan, right? Like players are going to be in that region. Um, how do you see, that happening for Japan, and already maybe explain to some of the viewers that might not know some of the paths that you have been exploring?
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I believe that Japan will play a key role in the growth of Web3 industry. Because first of all, like many people know, Japan is like the mecca of anime IPs. Like it's the birthplace for many animes and mangas such as One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, Pokemon. Like, so like we are super familiar with all these IPs that could be utilized in the Web3 industry as well. And I think many companies are just waiting for the right opportunity at the moment. And in terms of the Japanese industry itself, like the Japanese market, Japan, like historically, they couldn't really succeed in the IT revolution when smartphones were coming out. So even though in the US we have big companies like Gotham, like Google, Amazon,
Yeah.
Apple, Microsoft, like none of these large corporations exist in Japan because they couldn't get on the wave of that IT revolution. And
Hmm.
now Japan is like, as a country, they're really putting a lot of like energy and focus into becoming the largest Web3 country because they think this is their comeback for
Yeah.
reviving their economy. So not only does the Japanese like game developers and IP holders like are trying to get involved with Web3 industry, it's like the whole country that are really focusing into like organizing the biggest Asian Web3 NFT conferences or trying to become like the first of doing something new in the Web3 industry. So with that said, yeah, I think Japan has a lot of experience and knowledge and business case in launching successful games and mangas and
Yeah.
building that culture globally too. So, in order for like games and I don't know, maybe different forms of like creatives to be popular in the Web3 industry, like working with Japanese industry or companies or being familiar with that, culture is going to be super important
Yeah.
for this growth. Mhm.
Yeah. I literally had it written down here that Japan is leader in revenue and cultural influence. So like you mentioned, such strong IPs, they come from that cultural influence of Japanese art styles, and also like on top of that, the competitive game, right? Like Japan in a lot of different gaming economies in the industry are always high performers, high contenders. And elements of Web3 for me as well, like this is a narrative that I have and I'm fond of, is that Web3 enhances the capabilities of esports, and these types of things in the future with a more stable industry at large, like they could be huge in terms of the interest of people wanting to watch it, the incentives to watch it, and the incentives to compete in it also. So there are a lot of strong components that already exist, and are ahead of us in terms of what people are building towards, that I definitely think that it would take well in any gaming economy. Japan though,
Mhm.
you have a beautiful community already in terms of Axie. So if we focus on what I know of the Japanese Axie community, there's some beautiful artists, some people who really put love and effort, and artisan into creating things um, that resemble the IP of Axie. Like it's almost inherent, right? Like you guys just have so much love and care for the art of these things, and that's beautiful to see. And I'm sure like this view on the community is shared across the board. I don't think anybody would not be fond of the community, to be honest. And seeing people like Mino, and you, and getting to the tops of the competitive scene was huge for me. I don't know, like there was just something there that I was supporting for you in Axicom, and it was so interesting. But for yourself, being the lead of the Japan community, do you find yourself like always getting hands on with the people that are coming into the Axie community?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, because I was originally a community member, I started out as a community member too. I really understand like where they're at and like how they feel about like the game and the community and overall. But on a daily basis, I talk with a lot of the Japanese community members every day on Discord, Twitter, and other platforms. But I'm very confident to say that we do have one of the most beautiful community members in the world, and they are very like passionate about Axie, and they're um, also one of the stickiest members in Web3 industry as well, I
Hmm.
believe. And uh, this is not only like I wasn't able to make this community alone, but it was from the help of everyone like who's involved in the Japanese community. And uh, let's say there's someone in Japan who starts playing Axie today, and that person might only have like, let's say, 5 followers on Twitter, but then like somehow the Japanese community would find that post and like it and retweet it, and it'll reach my eyes, and I'll retweet it, and like
Yeah.
just like continues that energy continues, and people just comment saying, "Hey, welcome to Axie, and like if you have any questions, just let us know, and if you want to learn more about it, just join our Japanese Discord." And
Yeah.
like I'm not even telling the community to do this, but they're just like super helpful and welcoming, and they're like, yeah, willing to educate other people about their knowledge and all that. So we're seeing a lot of beautiful things happen in the Japanese community. And like some people that I want to mention is like, first of all, Oshio, one of our dedicated
Yep.
Axie illustrators from Japan. Like
Big shout out to them.
she's yeah, big shout out to her. Like she has created so many profile pictures for many top
Mm-hmm.
esports players, like Elijah 1437, you, Mino, Dehi, like all the top players that many of the Axie players should know are usually like drawn by Oshio, if
Mm-hmm.
you like recognize her
Yep.
style.
I can see
Um,
Thebans right now, and it is Oshio.
right. Yeah.
Did a good
And
job.
whenever we, also another thing is we host Axie meetups in Japan every single month. And this is like with the
Oh,
help of you, Mino, and Oshio. They're like the main 3 organizers. But what I wanted to point out was that for all these meetups, like I'm sure, Gila, you've seen like several pictures of the Japanese meetup where there are like a bunch of decorations, stickers, and
yeah.
like merch and all that. But that's like all prepared by Oshio herself, like
Yes,
alone.
this is what I'm saying.
And
That's what I saw, the love and the care and the artisan. That was it. So yeah, man.
exactly.
Arigato. Bam.
Arigato, right? Yeah, I gotta say arigato to the whole Japanese
Amazing.
community, dude.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
keep doing
so
that
like,
stuff.
Yoshio's just one person to name, but there are like many people like her, like who's so passionate about Axie that they're not even asking anything in return, but
Mm,
they just simply want to help out each other because that's how they were first introduced to Axie as well.
yeah.
So I
It
love
passes
being in this
onwards.
community because it's just like a continuous like wave of like gratitude and giving to everyone.
Yep. No, it always pass it forwards. I think that's actually one of the strongest. It's part of the spine of our community. Like I see it throughout. It's always just like I don't want to use the word really endearing because it's like overly, but it's like everyone passes it forwards. Like I find myself, I have no real incentive other than maybe boosting a following, right? On a social media platform. And like that doesn't really mean a whole much to me, really and truly. Like the mechanics of the things I'm trying to do, yes, it's something that is a necessity. But being able to actually form and build real relationships and have communication with people that are seeing the same things as you are, and you're helping each other kind of navigate through this, that is what's powerful, that's what's special, that's why I like having the conversations, and it drives the core of the stuff that I do. I have a great fucking time on Twitter. I'm sure you probably see it, right? It's just it's so much fun, and then also rewarding because I'm able to be educated by other people in the community, and then also favors are passed on to me and I pass them forwards to people coming into the community likewise. So I think that's, if that's already what we see of the Japanese community, and you're saying like that's how it's going down in the discords as well, it's huge positive signs, because I truly believe in that passing it forwards does work. We skipped over this. I'm sorry. I got way caught up in the conversation. The music had me swaying, and then I love to talk about Japan and the Japanese culture, so I wanted to stick there for a sec. But we skipped over Ronin. I wanted to address it for sure. Does it work and is it valuable? Are the two questions, right? And 100% yes. Like, how do you see Ronin being adopted at a mass scale in Japan because of those components? It's the most efficient and very simple to use.
Yeah, for sure. So just to give you a brief overview, like the Ronin Network is a blockchain dedicated for Web3 gaming that Sky Mavis developed. So it's our layer one, but also side chain to Ethereum, so it's EVM compatible. So it's very easy to launch your games onto Ronin if you have already built a game on Ethereum. But basically, in terms of the Japanese market building on Ronin, I feel like many companies in Japan might be expert at like building a very successful game and coming up with new IPs and stuff. From my experience, it's the Japanese companies tend to struggle marketing their product to overseas, like to make it
Hmm.
global. So like even though Japan, comes up with like the latest refrigerator that's like see-through and has all kinds of like gimmicks in it, like, and it's amazing, it's so cheap and it's useful, but that like never reaches outside of Japan. So that like similar things happens in all kinds of like products in Japan. So I believe that Ronin will come into play by partnering with Japanese companies and asking them if they want to build on top of Ronin, so that we can give them, access to our strong countries like the LATAM area and like Southeast Asia. They'll have
Hmm.
like instant access to those community members. And we also have the Ronin wallet, which is also developed by Sky Mavis, and it's compatible with the Ronin web network. And we have over 4 million wallet downloads. So instant access to that many people. And there are more than 2 million Axie holders as well. So our like strong selling point is that we can give you like that access to the community members, and we'll give you also like the full support um, in order to launch a successful project. And we can also do this by utilizing our 2,500 Web3 content creators that we manage through Quest, our partner guild, who is like taking care of a lot of content creator management and like growth. So I think that's another unique point where we have like user generated content where we have like strong community and Japanese companies to launch a successful project, not only limited domestically, but like internationally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense actually when you think about that. There's probably so many games that came out in Japan that we never heard of in Western cultures that might be phenomenal. Would have been my favorite game as a child or whatever, but we never were able to come into contact with it. And that actually tackles quite a lot. This is one of the most valuable parts of Ronin as well right now. Like, if you launch a game, just launch one. Like, you have to start from ground zero. You have no fans. Nobody knows about your game. You have to start driving the initiative to what is this game? I want to play it. Like, if you launch a game on Ronin right now, just from the announcement, you have thousands of people already looking at it and like big end of thousands potential for upwards of that. And then you have data for a proven record of this many people interacting every single day. So they're active players. And then also you can get players right out of the gate because as soon as it's announced, I'm going to play it. And I know there are a lot of people sitting there right now thinking, well, yeah, I mean, Gila, if they drop a game, I'm going to try it, I'm going to play it. So it's a huge, huge asset to just have on that factor alone. And then obviously there's so much more that comes with it from that. You get content creators. You mentioned Quest, big shout out to Quest, but the creator platform and the creators program, sorry, is a huge initiative for any game that comes onto the Ronin network because you will have like it's almost like acquiring a marketing team out the gate. So huge for that. If that's the weak element or one of the areas that could be improved on in terms of Japanese development in gaming, then for sure I can
Right.
see it
Yeah.
flying.
I wanted to rephrase what I said earlier in a better way, but basically, because not only do we build the Ronin, like the blockchain itself, we also develop all these like infrastructures, including like the wallet and Mavis Hub and the marketplace. So basically, even if let's say someone wants to partner with Ronin and build on top of Ronin, like, and even if they only have like experience in building a game itself, we can. That's where we come in and say that you don't have to worry about creating a wallet or blockchain or like a distribution platform because we have all that, and like it'll be a easy onboard for those partners to just like focus on building a really good game, and we can take care of the Web3 part uh,
Mhm.
of the game, and also yeah, we can help build awareness before the launch, and also create the first core 5,000 community members for that project itself. So um yeah, like having all sorts of these features that the partners will be able to get is like one of our selling points why like you should build on Ronin. But
Facts.
I also wanted to point out that like currently it's like semi-open, so people have to still send applications, and it's a little bit selective right now. But eventually down the line in several years, we're trying to open the Ronin network publicly to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's down the road. That's down the road. It's an interesting point to get to on the road where, independent developers can, hey, bish bash bosh, here you go, here's a game, try it out. Um, does that, how do you, ooh, that's, I didn't even think of, I know that was on the roadmap, but I tend to not think about that on a day to day. That's crazy. Um, but yeah, man, developers, first time developers as well. It could be a training ground where that one game kind of
Right, right.
is
Yeah, and
like a mini clip game, bro. What was that game where you would be on like a bicycle or they would have different vehicles? What was it called? Oh, I'm blanking and I'm so sorry about it.
well, maybe it's Crazy Wheel. Yeah, it's on the bicycle.
Yeah. Happy Wheels, that's it. Happy Wheels.
Happy Wheels.
But like something so silly could get like so much attention and like players going through it and experiencing it. Like that's a wild thing to think of. Like you could have those one-time games just coming out from Ronin every other day. You can try something new essentially, which is a cool concept or environment to be in anyway.
Right,
Let's see what happens.
right,
But
right.
let's move on. I want to talk more about in real life events. You mentioned about the Japanese community having the meetup once every month. That's so solid. Like shout out to those guys for doing that because in real life events are very important, I believe. Like it strengthens networks quicker than it does for like months on end talking in a Discord. It's so different. Um and they are imperative for adoption in my opinion. So um you know, you're right now based in West Coast US
Yes.
and you guys had a meetup. It was specifically Slugfest had a meetup on the West Coast. You went to the event and there was just 3XP as well last week.
Mhm. Yes.
Mine was blanking. I was forgetting the name of it. 3XP last week. Great time, good times for real.
Yeah, always.
Anything that stands out to you from 3XP? This we can go like slightly off topic here. Just from that experience, it could be games because I've said it a lot of times on Twitter. I'm not chainist. We'll talk about games or whatever. But
Mhm.
what stands out to you after the 3XP experience?
Yeah, for sure. So at 3XP that happened last week in Pasadena, California, we got to see many games that are currently in development, and some games that are already like on chain, different chains like Polygon, Immutable, and like they had their own booth and were like showcasing their games. And we also Ronin also hosted a booth for the Machines Arena. So we
Yeah.
had like our own little booth, and the Sky Mavis teams were kind of supporting at the event as well.
Dope.
But basically, yeah, I got to play several like games, and like some of these games like had AAA graphics, FPS stuff, and some were like kind of Splatoon, kind of
Mhm.
cute character shooting games, and some of these games were still kind of even like in the middle of deciding which chain to build on. So that's like when I
Wow.
was
Okay.
kind of pitching like, yo, you should build on
Mhm.
Ronin kind of deal. But what I wanted to say from my experience at 3XP was that like we have so many great like content creators and gamers who are like ready to amplify and promote these games, and some of these games are just like they're like ready and built, but they're in the like they're still deciding where to build. I mean, develop on. So I see that there are many great games out there where many like chains will be super interested in welcoming them onto their network. So I hope the Ronin network could work with some of the gaming
Yeah,
companies that were at 3XP as well.
for sure. Like a statement that was said quite a lot in Web3 gaming is that like if we flash back to like last year and maybe even a little bit further, it was always like the standard of games is not here. It was like renowned. People would say it like your AAA games are not here. Like, you mentioned some AAA games were, or at least some AAA graphics were there. But overall, do you think the games are getting much better, much faster than before?
Right. I feel like compared to 2 years ago, maybe, when like NFTs were booming, like the overall game experience has been improved a lot from my experience. I feel like back then, many people were too focused on giving out like tokens and like it
Yeah.
was all about that earning, mechanics. Whereas now, none of these games really even show anywhere in the game like how much you're actually earning or like even if there is any earning like mechanics to begin with. So
Yeah.
um I like the direction where this whole industry is heading right now, where we are focused on building a new game. But I think that is also the baseline, though. Like we constantly say that like Web3 games have to have like good gameplays and all that, but
Hmm.
that's like the obvious like baseline for
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah. Yeah.
with that said, like now I feel like it comes down to like the onboarding experience and like the first time, user experience where like how smooth is the conversion from like a first time player actually downloading the game to downloading the wallet and making their first investment into the game. So those are like the sections where I think many gaming developers will have to, put more focus into. And
Yeah.
like, let's say with Axie Origins, like I feel I personally, like as a community member, I feel like the tutorials are a little bit too long and they're kind
Hmm.
of dragging as well. And I'm personally not a fan of like using the word tutorial within a game. Like
Yeah.
nothing should be a tutorial. Like there shouldn't be a lesson. Whereas like it should be a more of a practical, like just actually playing the game. And as you play the game, you just like end up picking up these new skills that are used in like for strategies and all that.
Yeah.
So um, that's something that I've at 3XP I saw a lot. Like people aren't using the word tutorial within their game. So it's like just press a button and get started with the game, and
Yeah.
you already know how to play a game like after several few plays.
Yeah. That's where the fun is. I know a lot of tutorial skippers. I know a lot of them. There's a lot going on. But no, I mean, with the way things are advancing, like imagine something like an AI coach essentially that like you just get thrown in and it's like you can do whatever. But at any point, if you want to question what just happened, the AI kind of has the pattern of sequel, the sequence that just happened, can explain it to you. I don't know. Anyway, um, yeah, bro. I've kept you here for a little minute right now as well, but I've got one more. This is more for the community itself, actually,
Mhm.
and uh, like helping their approach to creating content and even just building. It might not be the fact that they're a speaker or YouTuber or whatever. Um, in from your experience, can you describe the best way for creators to be building networks and pushing their content in today? Like what platforms should they be using? Like what communities should they be looking at? And then also, advice on maybe what it is, what's their style, advice on do they build a personality for themselves? Should they be themselves? Those types of things. Little gems that Aruchan might be able to drop for us.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely my biggest message to all creators out there will be to like continue making content. Like consistency is the key to
Hmm.
growing your channel, and that was what I did myself. So at the very beginning of this interview, you know how I said like I started out with 100 subscribers, and I'm pretty sure everyone goes through that where I only had like 12 views, average views every single video. But for me, like the current channel that I hold, that I'm managing right now, Axie King Aruchan, is not actually my first YouTube channel. Before I like came like I established this channel, I had like maybe 5, 6 different YouTube channels happening at the same time before COVID. And I was constantly experimenting like different formats where I was like in one channel, I would not show my face, but it was only educational content about like what is Bitcoin, what is NFT. And that did good like on its own, but like it was lacking many things at the same time. And other channels, I was like just posting music content, like doing creative things and all that. Um, but basically, what I'm trying to say here is that it doesn't like your channel is not going to grow overnight. Like you just have to experiment every possible ideas that you have in your head, and like it's just a continuous process of practice, 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 and trial and error. So, by the time I turned my YouTube channel into a bigger platform, that was because I was already like equipped with all these like knowledge and experience. Like I knew what would be a good thumbnail to catch people's eyes, and what are the best hashtags to put onto my YouTube channel, what the descriptions, like what are the format. So I was just like waiting for the perfect content that like was still a niche, like Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Fortnite. These are all like contents that many people around the
Saturated.
world are like, yeah, just like everyone has done this before, and it's like over flooded, and that's not how you can suddenly grow your name. So just try to be yourself. That is super important too. Like uh I learned from my own YouTube channel that like people love my videos not because the content that I'm picking up are like educational, but also because they want to hear like Aruchan explaining these things. Like people actually um are fans of my character and my personality more than the contents that I put out. So being yourself is more important than like content that you choose to make
Facts.
videos out of. So be true to yourself and keep grinding. One other message I wanted to say is that I was a community member who got, found by the co-founder of Axie Infinity, Jiho. And later I found out that like, even when I was still like a struggling YouTuber, they still had me under their radar because I was posting contents every single day using the
Yeah.
hashtag Axie Infinity. So, creators shouldn't be, discouraged by like the numbers, but they should focus more on putting out contents every single day, because I wanted to let you guys know that like there is someone always watching you.
Yeah.
Like there will always be someone who's, like who has you under the list, and it's just a matter of time before they ask you or you like find a new opportunity.
Facts. Words of encouragement. Now, listen, if that's you and you've been thinking about it, you haven't done it yet, this is your warning, all right? But no, stay curious. Curious in terms of trying new things, curious in terms of what will happen if I do this? Be curious and go and do it. Be consistent then to keep doing those things. And when you see things working, be consistent with them. And when you see things not working, consistently cut them off. And then also later on down the line, be concise. The cutting off is the concise, right? It's one of the approaches that I always take. I like C words. I won't dox my IRL name, but it initials CC, and you can see CC on every Axie that I own. I got a C thing, but curious, consistent, then concise. All right. But no, Adachan, thank you so much for this conversation. I really appreciate it, bro. And to find those things out about you, like now I know the next in real life event that we link up, we got some catching up to do with that, and hopefully one day maybe we can sit down and listen to some good music. All right, brother. But thank you so much. And last words are all that you want to say before we get out of here.
Yeah, thank you so much for this time, Gil. I had a really fun time chatting with you, and it was great to know that you're also into music as well. So I really hope we could, work on a track together some
Let's do it.
in the future. And one last thing I wanted to say is I am visiting Japan in like next week. I'm visiting Japan next week, and we are having Axie meetup in Kyoto on June 29th, where Jiho will be attending as a guest, special guest as well. And this will be like a Sky Medalist sponsored official Axie event happening in Japan. So if you're in the area, just let me know, or swing on
Definitely.
and let's meet up.
Not one to be missed. Not one to be missed at all. But no, thank you, brother. Thank you for tuning in to another Ronin Radio podcast. We'll see you again next time. And I hope you know, Aruchan, I just got to let you know this. Because you made that announcement, I now have to release this before that date. So thank you for that. I got a lot of work to do. Much love. Everyone take care. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.